Hi, welcome to the Bangya Experience, a podcast where three visual kei fans of color discuss their experience partaking in the subculture while living in Japan, anecdotes, advice, and hot takes. Today's episode is our fourth episode. The episode is called Sakurai, Gender Envy Atsushi. So in this episode, we want to discuss our perception of gender expression in the visual kei scene and what it meant to us growing up, as well as how we view it today after living in Japan for a couple of years. First, let's introduce yourselves. Please say your name and your preferred pronouns, of course, and also where you come from.
Hi, I'm Persia. I'm from Canada. My pronouns are she, her.
Hi, I'm Haïfa. I'm from Morocco and Algeria, France. And my pronouns are they, them.
And hi, I'm your host for today. My name is Fatima. I'm from Canada. I'm from French Canada. My family is from Morocco, and my pronouns are she, her.
Was I supposed to say my family's from Iran because they're from Iran?
You never really say it.
I always forget. My bad.
Okay. Let's talk about growing up as people of color who like visual kei or just alternative stuff. That's not very common, or at least it wasn't when we were still young. So what did people think of your love for visual kei, like in regards to your taste or your sexuality when you were growing up?
They assumed I was bi because I liked quote unquote guys that look like girls, but to me they didn't look like girls. They just looked like guys wearing makeup. So I don't know where they got that from, but yeah, I always like the masculine members of bands. So usually I like the masculine, really manly members. So yeah, they thought I was bi, but I didn't. So yeah.
I like people around me didn't have much opinion because it's not really something that I would share. I guess I was a bit ashamed also to be into visual kei and stuff. So I wouldn't share it a lot. When I shared it with people, I guess they also thought that I wasn't straight, especially when one of my favorite early VK band and one of my favorite member was both from Ancafe. So I guess they thought it was bit a bit special, but not that much opinion actually. Not out loud opinions. They probably had thoughts, but that's it. And what about you, Fatima?
I feel like people thought I just had weird taste in men, but nobody, until I was like in late high school, nobody really made a comment about it, like about my assumed sexuality or gender or anything like that. I didn't think of it myself either until that time. Someone told me like I was probably like a closeted lesbian. That's like something that struck me. I was like, huh, I never thought about it. You know, and I never even thought, I couldn't even deny or say it was true because I had never thought about it. It hadn't occurred to me that like people were looking at these men and assuming what it meant about me, you know?
And how old were you when they said that?
I was like 15 or 16.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess because I wasn't interested in the guys in my class either. Like I wasn't, I don't know, I was just in my own little universe with my pictures of Ancafe on my agenda and my pictures of Mana and all that. So yeah,
No
they just
doubt.
thought I had weird taste in men, and or probably they just thought I was like a horny fangirl or something like that.
How do people assume, like, why do they assume that it's a sexual preference? Like, oh, I'm looking at them, I'm sexually attracted. Why didn't they assume, like, oh, maybe Fatima just wants to look like them? Maybe Fatima just wants to do their makeup like them. Why do people always assume that it's a sexual thing?
I think it's like, isn't it like kind of internalized misogyny and also like the whole image of being a fan? Like it's so tied to like being a fan of something, especially if you grow up young and like assigned female at birth and like you're a fan of someone, especially if that's a man, it has to be sexual. Like it has to be like this. I feel like it's more internalized misogyny, but then after I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people tend to assume, as you guys say, that we are like we might like we're exhibiting like behavior that could be associated to like the LGBTQ community. Like you might be bisexual, you might be closeted lesbian, and so on. So as far as your experience goes and the people you've met throughout the years, how often have you met visual kei fans who are part of the LGBTQ community? Let's start with like the foreign fan base.
For the foreign fan base, like often, almost everyone. Yeah, like almost everyone is like bi or pan from what I've seen. Like, I mean, I'm straight, so like I haven't met I can't recall. I can't even name one person that's straight. I'm
You,
other than myself.
you.
I swear to God, I like all of you guys on Twitter that are listening to this. Are if you're my friend, you're probably not straight. You know you.
You know.
You know you. You know who you are. You know that I'm your only straight friend, probably that likes visual K. I swear.
You're the token straight friend.
I
You know,
am.
you're the token straight friend.
I
That's
am.
true. That's true. Same, yeah. For foreign VK fans, not everyone, but almost, yeah. I don't know why. I don't know why, but yeah. I mean, I do know why a bit, but we'll get to this after, I guess, when we talk about maybe Japanese fans. And what about you, Fatima?
Yeah, it's very similar to what Persia said. Like, I feel like most people are not straight, but I don't know how to say this, but it's like
I'm your only straight friend that likes visual K.
maybe not.
Oh, okay.
But you're definitely a minority in the as far as like foreign fans go, and I feel like that comes a lot from like, well, first of all, like I like foreign people okay, not foreign people outside of Japan fans. Like a lot of them come from cultures where people are more open about their sexuality, so it's not so much that I don't know if my friends are straight or not. It's like I know my friend is bi, I know my friend is pansexual because they say it, you know? Like, so I'm super aware of the fact that there's a lot of people who are part of the LGBTQ community as far as like foreign fans go, because people say it, people are open, people talk about it on their social media, like they're not shy to talk about it. Like that's something that's quite common. And being from like Western countries, like I think that's an attitude that we've observed even outside of visual K. It just feels like it's like in our cultures, like in the cultures of our countries, like people are more open about it. I wouldn't say it's like this for people of color.
Yeah.
But it's definitely like it's quite common. So yeah, for sure. I feel like I've met a lot of people who are part of the LGBTQ community in visual K. So how about Japanese fans, like being in Japan and stuff?
No one.
In Japan, Persia is the majority, so
Yeah.
I would say cis, straight, most of the time women, yeah. Yeah, and it's the complete opposite. And as you said, I think it's all tied to the society we live in. There are definitely LGBTQ people who are fan of visual K, like in like Japanese people too, but it's much less common, and it's overall again a bit less common in Japanese society to be out. So yeah, I think it's goes like that. So it's interesting in that episode of gender because we talked about this multiple times before, that like Persia, you're the cis straight one, but also like in Japan you are the majority. Like most of the Bangya, Japanese Bangya are you. So
Yes.
like you. So
Like I was thinking about like this question myself, and I was wondering, and I also like at first I also thought like Persia probably represents most of the fans here, but it's also like, as I said like in a previous episode, like Japanese fans are very good at separating things. Like they have separate Twitters for their like fan activities. They have like they have a nickname for like the online activities. Like they only share with you what you want, what you can see. And being in a visual K scene, like when you meet Japanese fans and you go to a concert, there's very small opportunity to know anything about them outside of like the fact that they like a certain band. So I don't want to assume anything and say like their majority of the fans are cis straight women, because even if they were, they seem to be AFAB. They seem to be people who are like socialized as women, or who look like what we like envision as the binary, like the gender expression of women in our society. We don't know if that's true or not. That's only a perception. That's only what we can judge from looking at them. And even if they were, and they were dating a man or a Ben man, it wouldn't mean that they're straight. They could still be bi or pansexual or like they
Yeah.
could be anything, you know, like, so
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
feel
of
like
course.
we can't really assume. So that's what it looks like from the outside, but I'm not sure, like Peru is like open about it because that's like maybe because we, as we said, like we come from Western countries, like we talk, like, I mean, we talk about like these things more openly. But I have like a few Japanese friends like in the same fandom as me, and like I don't even know where they work, how old they are. I don't even know their real names. I don't know anything about them, so I can't really say that they're cis straight women, if that makes any sense, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In my experience, I go to Doe Minor Live, so most people are cis straight women, but I did date a bandman whose name I'm not gonna say, obviously. Ugh. But he asked me if I was bi. And I was like, why? What would you, why? And he was like, because I dated a girl who was bi, and she was a Bangya. And I was just wondering.
But it was it a foreigner?
No.
Ah, okay.
So, yeah, I mean, and then he also knows, like, my friends are not straight. So he asked me, I don't know, but it just, it was a bit, like, shocking, or not shocking. It was just like, why would you just ask that? Like, I don't know. I've never been asked since I was a kid if I'm bi, because I thought it was quite clear that I'm into guys only. But because what Fatima said, that Japanese fans, they know how to separate things. So maybe, I guess it was his way of trying to know another side of me that I was probably hiding, or so he thought.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't realize that until you said that. So that's interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess like we don't know, so like we can't really assume, and I guess we have to respect that, because like fans cannot, like, they don't really owe us to like reveal that, because it's not necessarily part of their culture, even though like that we can discuss like whether or not that's good, or that's just like cultural differences and things like that. But
I have something else I want to add. There are like I can't talk about guys or like gay guys. I have nothing to say. But I know like some, like girls bands, they attract like lesbian Bangya. Like Exist Trace. Oh, name dropped. We can cut that out. There's a all female band that I know. Can I say their name?
yeah, because I was gonna mention in
Yeah.
another question.
Yeah,
So
like Exist Trace, like, because my friend Pika, name drop Pika, she used to go see them, and she's a Bangya, and she's not straight, and a lot of their gya are not straight. So it depends. Not only like Exist Trace, but there's also like Danger Gang. I know for a fact their gya are not straight. Like, you can tell.
I feel like, yeah, it really depends who you go see, actually.
Yeah, and
There's
like
some artists you can, yeah.
like for example, Gazette has so many lesbian fans.
Really, yes.
They have
yes.
so many lesbian friends. Like,
Yeah.
it's just a thing. Like, if you know,
I don't know why.
I don't know either.
We can't really tell why, but we're just saying.
Yeah.
those patterns. And like speaking of like certain bands or certain artists that have a lot of like fans who are part of the LGBTQ community, do we know of any bandmen who are part of this community, like publicly out? Like, we don't want to talk about rumors or about like allegedly and stuff like that. We want to talk about like fact on fact, who's out.
I mean, I know a few open ones, but there are like so many closeted ones, because it's still Japan, and Japan is quite conservative in regards to that. I feel like you're not gonna sell if you're a Doe minor and you're openly like gay. You're not gonna sell as much as you would as a more famous band and then become openly gay. Like, they still have to kind of sell the fantasy, so I think they really hold back. And most bands do not go beyond the Doe minor, finishing line. Yeah, they start Doe minor, they end Doe minor, so I don't think they have a chance to come out, really.
I think the only one that I could, if I had to name drop, would be Kaya. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, only besides Kaya, it's like
Riku from Phantasmagoria.
Oh.
Isn't he bi? I swear he was dating someone.
Oh, I have no
He
idea.
was dating a guy, I swear. Maybe I'm wrong. I can't remember, but I swear he was dating like Fry Pan or something.
I
Yeah.
have
I
no
don't know if
idea.
that was a joke or not, but yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. Don't kill me.
I think Fatima, maybe exist trace someone.
Yeah, Omi from
Oh,
Existry said
okay.
she was bisexual. She
Okay.
talked about it like in I think it was a blog post or an interview, but she talked about it, like the hardships of being non-straight.
And also, if I can add, that's like, of course, another debate, but probably Gact, who talks
Yeah.
about being bi a lot.
Isn't Ryoga from Born By? He said in an interview he's attracted to both genders.
Sakurai Ao from Karigari is really good.
Oh yes, I forgot.
Oh, he's gay?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's as far like that's all I could think of as far as like confirmed.
Yeah, like I have someone, I don't know if that's confirmed, and I don't know if that has to do with their gender or not. Maybe it's just, I would say, gender non-confirming, but wataru?
From Nislich, yeah.
Yeah. That's
Oh yeah, well yes. No, they're non-binary and they said it.
okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. So yeah.
Now their name is Ruko.
Ruko.
Mm.
Ruko,
But
yeah.
they're not like, we don't know if they're like gay or bi.
But they're non-binary, which is part of the LGBTQ.
So well, if we're talking about that, then isn't it from Dazzling Bad?
Oh, it's from
Non-binary?
Dazzling Bad. That's that's an interesting topic here.
I don't know much about it, but
I don't know either, but I don't know.
and is it the vocalist of Irokui?
Trans.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's trans. The vocalist.
So I guess like our point is like we want to talk about only confirmed people because we don't want to like fall prey to like rumors and stuff like that, which is something we see a lot on Visual K Twitter. People tend to go and assume people's gender a lot or like people's sexuality a lot based on like the way they look, the way they talk, things that they say in interviews and such, but we don't really know their private lives. And like I have, from my experience, I've never seen a Japanese fan talk about a Bedman's like sexuality like online. I've never seen apart from like anonymous boards, but like on Twitter and stuff, I've never seen a fan like discuss with another one like, what do you think this Benman is sexuality is and stuff like that. It's really not something that people discuss like online, at least like for other people to see.
Yeah, like that's some DM level shit. Like, why would you do that in public?
It's wild. But I think it's a big problem. Like when you're abroad, you tend to think that Benmen are like so much bigger than they are. Like they can never see what you do online, and then you feel like you can freely discuss their personal issues and everything online with your friends. Like it's just some topic that's super detached from you, but it's much smaller in reality. So you have to kind of be careful with that.
Yep.
Yes. So we've talked about people who are confirmed members of the LGBTQ community. What about Benmen who are openly supportive allies with capital A?
I don't know. We aren't in their personal lives, so we don't know how they feel about it. I mean, if they're not themselves like part of the LGBTQ and out, they're probably not gonna bring it up. You know, a lot of like in Japanese culture, a lot of that stuff, if it doesn't really relate to them, they're quite passive about it. They don't have an opinion. They won't say their opinion. So unless you ask them, like, oh, well, how do you feel about LGBTQ people? Like, they're not gonna bring up the fact that they're an ally. You know, that's just how Japanese culture is. It's not like, you know, in the West that you have to, oh, I'm an ally. You know, they don't just claim something like that.
That's interesting. I agree, actually. I didn't think about this, but that's true. There's no occasion to actually say it. I feel like the only thing that we could see is like if they do associate with those the ones we talked before, so like the ones who are out and like the ones who talk a lot about those communities. So for example, I wouldn't say anyone who associates with Kaya is definitely openly an ally and supportive, but the ones who seem to be friends and close with him, you can tell. Like when Benmen are like friends and stuff, you can definitely tell.
Yeah.
So I would say that I imagine that people who appreciate or work or just hang out with Kaya or Sakurai Ao from Karigari, I guess they are at least open-minded about it.
Yeah, like I mean, for most men, like we don't really know where they stand on these kind of questions. But I do have two examples of people who have openly been supportive of LGBTQ. The first one is Kyo from Darren Gray. In a Rock and Read interview, he's talked about the fact that he thinks people should be allowed to love who they love. So I think that's, I mean, I know it's not like I'm an ally of the LGBTQ community, but that's the closest thing you can get to that.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's
like,
true.
as far as like a public figure here saying something. And I mean, of course, like he says, Kikyo is written from the perspective of a woman singing about a man or something like this. But like, you can feel like for him, it's like it's more about like the feelings, and it's not about like who feels for what, for who. I don't know how to explain, but it feels very like the way he writes in Skikyo is very free, like of like binary. It just like the music and the lyrics and the interview in itself where he spoke about it. And I mean, even recently, after a series of Skikyo concerts, he made a blog post where he talked about the fact that people should wear what they want, regardless of what people think. And it wasn't necessarily about like the fashion style. It was he was wearing a gown, like some kind of like very frilly dress. So it was an allusion to like the way people express their gender. So I thought that was also something noteworthy. The second person is Hazuki from Lynch. Sometimes on his Instagram, he'll answer questions from fans. And there was a day where a fan spoke of her relationships to another woman. And she sought advice from Hazuki. And he actually was very supportive and answered in a very like way where he encouraged her to try he didn't ignore the question. Of course you can ignore the questions you get on Instagram, but he actually posted about it, and he was very friendly and supportive of the person's worries about like being in a same-sex relationship. So that was pretty cool. I thought noteworthy also.
That is true. That reminds me two things. Gact also did that type of on a TV show. He gave advice to someone who had a crush on her friend or something like that. And again, very open-minded, likes to claim that he's bi. So Gact is in that category. But also to go back to Kyo, it's also I think a good example of not assuming his gender or his sexuality, because I've seen a lot of people happy about that blog post you mentioned, and I think it's great. It's actually great, but sometimes you have to be careful to not just like go a step further and then be like, oh, he said that and he was wearing like a gown or something. He has to be like coming out right now. That's his way of coming out. Maybe it is, maybe it's his way to maybe it is, but we cannot assume, we cannot say it is it for fact, you know.
Well, if he's not saying like this is me coming out, I don't think it is. No,
it's up to, I mean, everyone's perception. But I don't think we should assume that for sure. Yeah, I don't think it's good. I understand that people like the post. I think it's very supportive. I think it's very real. It's nice, but we have to be, those are the type of moments you have to be careful. Not just assuming, oh, Mana wears dresses and stuff. Like, not just that. Even Kyo making a whole post like this cannot make you say, oh, that is a non-binary person if I've ever seen one.
Yep.
That's that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as far as like personal interpretation, people are allowed to feel like that whatever message a celebrity that they admire, like, the message can be encouraging towards them. It can be validating. It can feel like you're being seen or accepted. I think that we talked about how Visual K has a lot of those moments where you feel seen, you feel validated, you feel you can relate to the artist in a way. So I think as far as like personal interpretation of things, you're allowed to do whatever you want with it, but it's when you go around and start to claim things about people that you've never met in reality that it becomes a problem. Definitely. And we see this behavior a lot on Visual K Twitter, sadly.
Yep. We're looking at you, Visual K Twitter. Stop it.
Hashtag Baroque Twitter.
It's okay. It's okay. But yeah, be careful, fam. And also on the opposite side, just to add, do not go around and think that every bandman might be supportive. It's not. Yeah. It is not an acquired opinion. Acquired opinion? Can I say that? Does it mean something? Like, it's not like, oh, you are a visual kei band man, you have to be probably supportive or supportive of
Yeah.
LGBTQ. No, it doesn't have anything to do with that. Sometimes,
Yeah.
unfortunately, some band men are really not supportive of the community, but yeah, it just like that. Do not assume that they are.
Yeah, I mean, we can't forget this is still Japan. Like, this is a conservative society compared to the West. So there are still going to be homophobes and, you know, those kind of people. They won't be open about it. You know, they're not open, like, you know, hateful, like, you know, how you might think of some Western homophobic people are. But, like, deep down, they probably don't agree with the lifestyle. So don't assume everyone's going to be okay with it just because they're in visual kei.
And speaking of Japan and how people look at like the LGBTQ community, going into the next topic, history, like Japan has a history of like arts where androgyny was celebrated and like gender like expression was like an artistic thing. It wasn't necessarily like something that reflected the true character of someone. So we can look at things like kabuki or like takarazuka theater. These actors, they express themselves like within the binary, of course, like women and men, but they play characters, and it was never really seen as something that was like something that wasn't accepted or something that was repulsive or anything like that. It was celebrated as like a very high form of art. So from kabuki, actually, we have a term that comes up a lot in visual kei, which is onnagata. So onnagata. So the term onnagata comes from kabuki theater. The equivalent to the takarazuka review is otokoyaku, which means someone who plays a male role. So back in the times where kabuki was very popular, a lot of women who were in the arts were taught to be prostitutes. So to get rid of the problems of prostitutions, they completely removed all women from the arts and only allowed men to do theater. So they needed people to play female characters. And so some men were trained and dressed and how can I say, like I guess they were like formed to play female characters only. So they were taught the gesture, the mannerism, how to stand, all the etiquette of high society women of that time. And so, of course, the meaning today has completely changed in regard to visual kei. As far as onnagata goes, it's not necessarily something that is assigned to someone based on their physical appearance or anything like that. Some people like the onnagata role. They volunteer to take the onnagata role. Some people might just be like, hey, you would look good in this. Why don't you try it out? And some people do onnagata and then are like, this is really not for me. And then they move on to something different depending on the band. So, but onnagata usually refers to the member who plays the quote unquote girl role in the band. Some famous ones.
Mana-sama.
Mana-sama, Hizaki, yeah. Sena, that's true. Bo from Ancafe. That's
Kaya.
Kaya, yeah.
Shinya from Durang Gray.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And of course, we have like very like the epitome of like onnagata would be like the ones who do their whole look, their whole mannerism based on like what they think is a girl, what looks like a girl. But Japanese fans also use the term loosely to describe any artist that has like what they consider like a feminine, how can I say?
Aura.
Yeah, feminine aura. So for example, one striking example for me was people saying that Kyo in Skikyo was in his onnagata form. Compared to Durang Gray or Petit Bras Bonson, which I kind of get it because he wears makeup, he plays the girl character where he sings about a man and things like that, so I get it.
But he does that in Durang Gray too.
Not as much as in Skikyo.
But I mean, he still does it in Durang Gray. He's been doing it in Durang Gray from the beginning.
So. But do you feel I feel like this aesthetic of Kyo and Skikyo is like very like much more feminine and delicate than he's ever been in Durang Gray.
I agree, but I'm just saying, like, he sang from the woman's point of view many times from the beginning of Durang Gray, like a lot.
I feel like that's an excuse that a lot of artists use when they just want to write like a sexual song or something like that, or like one of them is Yasu from Acid Black Cherry. He'll write a song and be like, it's from a feminine point of view. No, fam, it's not.
We are talking to you, Yasu. We are looking at you.
Yasu lives rent-free on this podcast.
Yasu lives rent-free. It's true.
Okay. I mean, I do agree, like, because I've seen Skekio live before, and yeah, I agree. I mean, but when I saw him, he was, he looked really... He didn't look as delicate as he sounded in the songs. He looked like Durangre Kyo with a little bit more makeup. That's all.
That's why you need to come back.
I think that's different now.
That was pre-COVID. So
yeah,
that was my first year in Japan. So
okay, so like, as far as like you getting into visual kei, for sure it didn't take long before you saw the first Onnagata. What did you think of Onnagata the first time you saw them? And who was it? Who was the chosen Onnagata?
Shinya and no thank you. Absolutely motherfucking not.
Okay. That was Bo from Ancafe, and I was impressed, and that was actually not for a very long time, because I also really loved Kanon and then Miku. Bo was probably my favorite member at the time, and yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
If he didn't have that long, luscious blonde hair, would you still have liked him?
No, probably not.
No. That's what I'm saying.
It's not just the hair. It's not just the hair. It's not just the the hair was important, but also like he was. I think he really did it so well. Like the outfits were cute, and like he also was not completely like feminine 100% of the time, but most of the time he was, and you can tell he was having fun. You can tell no one really forced him into that. Like he was just really having fun, and I was both impressed. I was admirative, and also then I felt attracted. So then like that's the moment you start questioning yourself. But yeah, that was both from Ancafe, and I really loved that. Like I was like, oh, that's so cool. And what about you?
I just want to comment on Persia saying his hair was luscious. Girl, his hair was fried.
Yeah, well, they photoshopped it to look luscious. So
It looked nice
in the photos. Hell
it looked so nice.
Damn, to me it looked fried as fuck.
Oh, okay.
Oh damn.
For me, it was Mana. Obviously, like Mana was like my introduction to visual kei, my introduction to everything, basically. I'm not gonna say I was grossed out. I was just like very like, whoa, like what is this? I just thought it was like too much. But like even after seeing him, I never thought, oh, what's his sexuality? What's his gender? Everything. Okay, they say Mana, he is blah blah. So to me, it's just like a man who dresses like that. That's it. It was a bit of a shock because until that point in my life, I had never seen anything that looked like Mana. Just like Haïfa described, like when I read about him, though, like his interviews and the way he expressed what it meant to him to dress in that way and everything, I felt very envious. Like it's like the first time in my life that I saw someone who could dress in different ways, like whatever Mana describes as his female form and in his male form, but that he kept the same, like there was still the same essence. It wasn't like it was a costume. I never felt like Mana was wearing a costume. Like it always felt like he was just showing different sides of him. So yeah, it was very interesting, especially because Mana never talks, right? So like the fantasy was just like the best fantasy. Like other bandmen like who play Onnagata, when they talk, sometimes it'll break the fantasy a little bit, you know. But Mana really, until now, has kept the fantasy going, and also like he doesn't talk much about his life and things like that. So for me, it was just like the mystery and everything was just very charming. It was very cool for me. But yeah, I never really thought about his sexuality or anything like that. Like it didn't really matter to me, to be fair. It was just like a being. Yeah. So I thought that was really cool.
I mean, like I wanna say, to be fair, we all got into visual kei quite young, so personally, I didn't think about
me neither. Yeah,
their sexualities. I'm just like, if I like this guy and I'm attracted to him, I didn't think about his sexuality. I thought about my attraction to him, and that's it. You know, so I don't know about kids these days, but when I was a kid, when we were kids, we didn't think about the other person as much as kids these days do.
So here's a controversial question. Who's the best onnagata in visual kei?
Oh,
Okay, I feel like I can't really give a good opinion because I don't really see onnagata, like the famous ones, like in person. I haven't seen them in person, so I can't be like, oh, like they look good in photos but not in real life. But I have two answers. One is a controversial answer, one is not a controversial answer.
oh, I'm scared.
Okay, let's go. Let's start off easy with the non-controversial answer, Senna. Because, like,
Okay.
Senna, sometimes, doesn't he wear, like, fake tits and stuff?
I think he did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he looks
I've
like
seen
a
that.
girl.
I've seen that.
Like,
He. Yeah, that's true. He
yeah,
actually.
he can pass for a girl. So I'm like, okay, you did the job.
That is true.
You did the job. Second, I want to say, okay, for me, the most controversial would be Izam from Shazna.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, right? The thing is, I have a method to my madness. So when I see onnagata, it's not about like, well, of course it's about mannerisms, but also like how they look physically. Onnagata, if they're like drummers, they're really muscular. So it's like, men put on muscles in like a lot of places. You just look more masculine. Guitarists, they have big ass muscles on their forearms if they're playing guitar or bass. But if you're a vocalist, yes, he has a voice that's a man's voice, but the look, just by his looks, really feminine. Like really could, I've seen women that look just like him. So I think he's super feminine and onnagata. Of course, when he was in Shazna, after that, he stopped being onnagata, so he stopped. Anyways, he looks the part, and his voice is not super, it's not gacked, it's not kamijo, it's not asagi. So, it's more like Yasu in that sense. So I think his overall character in Shazna was pretty good.
Izam is probably one of the most famous onnagata of visual kei in Japan.
Yeah, because they went like mainstream, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were very popular, that like wave of like romantic visual
Yeah,
kei. So
melty love.
And they inspired like people who are like just as famous now who are not into visual kei. I think about Aoi Shota, who's like a seiyu who's like very dress a lot feminine and stuff. And when asked about his influences, he talked about Izam from Shazna. Like, yeah, he inspires people who are just doing completely anything else, but who also like feminine stuff.
He inspired all the Pampis.
Oh.
he's the Nami Amuro of his time.
Okay. How about you, Haïfa?
Those choices come from the heart, but I would say Bo from Ancafe because it comes from the heart. So I really love Bo from Ancafe.
You're entitled to your opinion.
I am really entitled. And also something that I like about Bo is that, well, it's kind of sad too, but he stopped Ancafe and then he disappeared, and then I can tell that he's probably not today on Nagata anymore, but I like that I do not know.
Yes.
I like that I do not know. My only image of Bo is gonna be this forever.
This is
Everyone's
image is the everlasting image of Bo.
Yes.
As that really onnagata guitarist.
Yeah, as you said before too, like some of them try for a second and then they change, and then maybe it was not made for them or something.
Or they age.
Yeah, they age also. But Bo, I have this image of him pretty young, and that's it. Mm-hmm. So I kind of like it like that. And I would also I would say that Kaya looks very nice. I just think Kaya looks absolutely great. The makeup, the hair, the dresses, everything is great. And a little mention for Mana, even though Mana I don't quite just put it in onnagata because, as you said, like he has his own forms. So he's not just onnagata. So like Mana is just like Mana. He doesn't count to me as onnagata, but also has been giving some of the best look in visual kei for like 30 years. So thank you. Thank you, Mana, for that. Thank you for your service.
King.
What about you?
I was gonna say exactly the same thing as you. Like, I think you maybe like I my first thought was of course mana, but no, like I don't think what he's doing is like traditional onnagata. It doesn't feel like a costume. It just feels like a different part of him. Yeah, like the essence is always there. It's just mana. You don't go, oh, that's his onnagata form. That's his, like nobody like bats an eye when mana is wearing a dress because we're just so used to it. It's just one form of mana. I have two also, so I'd love to say Kaya as well, just because yeah, Kaya looks great, but also Kaya had like this series of singles where he played like famous women in history, famous women through literature and all these like tragic women and all that. I just love that he Kaya is a drag queen in all the senses of it. Like he's a visual kei artist, but he's a drag queen. He's been to a drag queen event in the US. When I saw his live in his own live house, he very much has the role of the mother, like the woman that goes around, the drag queen that goes around and talks to the hosts and the people, and like very much, and like the singing, the Edith Piaf and all that, like very traditional drag queen image, you know, classic woman and all that. But I just feel a lot of respect. Like, yes, it's a costume, but I feel like there's a lot of respect, like, and professionalism in Kaya's work. So that's why I admire the way he does Onagata. Like, it's like he puts a lot of effort into it. It isn't just looking girly. It's like looking womanly and like putting a lot of power into it. So I love when Kaya does it. The second person is Machi from La Reine.
Ooh.
Oh my God, the drama Machi put, like, oh my God, like, I don't know how to explain, but there's something so gorgeous about Machi. Machi's so dramatic, the red hair, the curly red hair. Like, when Machi enters a room, it's just like the energy is different. I don't know how to explain it, but, and Machi was a drummer, so it's not like, but still, I mean, Machi, even outside of La Reine or his activities, has always been someone who's liked whatever we call the aesthetic, like the Tambi, like things. Like he likes roses, he likes poetry, he likes opera, he likes classical music. Like all these things are part of him, and that's why I think he's a great onnagata, because it doesn't feel fake, it doesn't feel forced, it just feels like an extension of himself.
Damn.
Yo, onnagata is serious business.
It is. It honestly is. It has to. It's, you know, people that do it well, do it well.
Absolutely. Okay, we're getting into the very, 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 very controversial part of this.
Shit.
So, this is just our own perspective. So, just like a little disclaimer up in here. So, very similar actually to Fujoshi, or like fans of BL who get like dragged all over the internet for being like, for fetishizing same-sex relationship, or like men and men relationship. Because people think that BL is queerbaiting. So do you believe that visual kei, in the same vein, is queerbaiting, not only through onnagata but also through fan service and things like that?
No. I mean, I don't know if I have authority to talk about this, but probably not. Like, if you're queer and you see that and you're attracted to it, that, and you think they are what you think they are, that's on you. That's your, you know, your perception of it. That doesn't mean it's true, okay? And saying, oh, that they're queer baiting. No, that's just their artistic expression. Don't shame their artistic expression.
That is actually very well said. And yeah, let's not forget that visual kei is also about like pushing like the limits and like being non-conformist in any ways. So it's also part of that. It's a way of expression, and the way you interpret it, as you said, it's on you. It's up to you.
I think, like, as you said, like, visual kei is like a subculture, like it's an underground subculture. I understand when people say that, for example, I'm sorry to go back to the BL thing, but BL has broken to the mainstream. You have like Johnny's idols who are playing gay characters on TV shows, and people are furious because BL has broken into the mainstream, like LGBTQ members of the LGBTQ community in Japan are getting crumbs. They're not getting any rights. They're not getting there's no development in their situation. So in that sense, I can understand how that could be seen as queer baiting, because it looks like we're trying to attract the fangirls, but we're not willing to do anything for the real people who suffer from these things. As far as visual kei goes, as you said, like no one said they were gay.
Exactly.
Like no, like the bedmen don't say I'm doing this fan service because I'm gay and I'm dating this other guy. Nobody says it. So what they're doing is like they're just creating a fantasy. Remember, when bedmen are stepping on the stage, we don't know what's real and what's fake. They're out there to create a fantasy for the fans. They're doing something in the spur of the moment. They're doing something to transmit a feeling or an image and so on. So they're characters. And also, let's remember, they're rock stars. This isn't the first time in history that rock stars start kissing each other on the stage. Look at David Bowie and other people. Okay, so these people have been doing it for years. And just like David Bowie has been taunted in the media, asked all the time about his sexuality, it just gets tiring. Okay, so I think that when people force like a narrative onto bedmen and things like that, it's a shame, because I just feel like we're basically saying, if you're questioning, if you're kissing another man and you seem to be a cis man, we're again assuming their gender and their sexuality. If you're kissing another man, you must be gay. Where are the facts that he could be pansexual or bisexual or trans? Like, we're erasing entirely the possible identity of a bedman just for it to fit our narrative. I think that's a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
And as we said, like, people are not like as out and proudly like gay in the scene in Japan. So it's just like, it feels like very like restraining. Like, you cannot kiss another man because you have to go on public television and make a press conference to say that you're gay and announce it to the world. Like, that's not how it works. And like, these bedmen, they're just, I don't know, like, also, like, remember, like, they're on the stage, their adrenaline is hitting, like, they're just having fun. And so when we're trying to put them in boxes, it's like, I know people want to see their faves and see the same thing, like, oh, I'm gay, so I want my fave to be gay. I want this to be real. But also, like, how about you accept your fave in the way that you wish your fave would accept you? You know?
Exactly.
Just the way you are.
And you know, to bring up, in Japanese culture, men have more skinship than Western men do with each other.
So true.
Yeah, like they go bathing with each other. That's normal for them. They go to bathhouses and onsen and, you know, hot springs and stuff. You know, they do that. They slap each other. They put, you know, they like, you know, they play the game where they put their fingers up their butt to the guy. like they do that shit with each other. That's normal for them. So like, I mean, if they're like super close, like, you know, some bandmen, they've been in a band with their bandmates since they were kids, like teenagers. So if they like do a kiss or something, it doesn't mean shit, probably.
And even if it meant, what does it matter?
Exactly.
So, like, it's also, I'm sorry to bring it back to BL, but BL is like a subgenre of shoujo manga, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and visual K, a lot of like the artists from the 90s and such, like, they are taking inspiration from shoujo manga, the aesthetic of shoujo manga, like
yes.
princes and all those things. So, like, even like looking at old photo shoots of visual K and like old songs, a lot of references from shoujo manga. So like, they are playing up a fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you're free to not like it or to feel like it's queer baiting, but you cannot assume their intentions. These men are not rich. They are not like filthy rich. So they're not making much money off of girls who just want to see two men kiss. Because it doesn't, first of all, from your experience, what's the most intense fan service you've seen in real life in Japan being here?
I've never seen shit, so.
I think I've seen kisses. Oh, I've seen
the two guitarists put their backs and do a twin guitar solo.
Is this one serious?
Love it.
Now I've seen like people like taking, like, I don't know, like from the back, just like kind of hugging each other on stage, that type of thing.
Oh yeah, they put their arm around their neck and they sing together.
I've seen slight kisses from the not really visual K, but from Hyde. I mean, still but that would be it actually. There's not much that I've seen lately.
Yeah, as far as seeing in real life, like, I've seen like flirty like interactions, like talking about like, oh yeah, in the backstage and everything, just to have a reaction out of the fans. But I've never seen that much in real life, as far as for myself.
I think, I feel like those last few years, it's mostly like those like I've seen small minor bands. They're small already. I'm not gonna add small to do minor. Sorry to our do minor band men listening, but like
Jonathan is shaking in his boots.
they're shaking. I'm sorry, but no, like I think what they do now is mostly toward the audience. They're gonna point at you. They're gonna like touch their lips like very like in a weird way or something. They're gonna do that type of things. They're gonna like
It's COVID. They can't do it to other bandmates, so they're just doing it to themselves.
Yeah, like they just There's a lot of that. I've seen mostly like them touching themselves or like and toward the audience.
Yeah, I don't see fan service. I see.
I mean, fan
service.
Is
that fan service?
Yeah, it is fan service, but not between them, but like for the audience.
Yeah. Okay, so like going not necessarily back to Onnagata, but like a topic that's connected to that. So like because of visual K and Onnagata and lyrics and themes that are talked about in the scene, do you feel like your perception of gender or gender expression or sexuality has changed in any way?
Nope.
Short and sweet.
It did change for me. It did change in the sense that before Visual K, which was like a pretty before, it means at 12 or 13 years old, before being exposed to that, I've never seen actually like men wearing that much makeup and like dresses and stuff and still talk about themselves as men. And so it was my first time being exposed to that. I mean, being allegedly cis men, I will say, and seeing them having fun with makeup and like just makeup or dresses or their whole appearance and their manners. It introduced me to something else than the binaries. I was like, oh, they can do that, so I can also have fun, not always being like a girly girl or something, or like I can just like I have also that freedom, like. And yeah, I think that changed a bit my perception of gender in that sense. I was like, oh, there's something else that like girls and like boys. There's also that, and you can just have fun with that, and like, and yeah, like I think that changed on that side, and it made me feel more comfortable trying out stuff after that. What about you?
So I guess like this is the part where I connect things to the title. So the title is Gender Envy, Sakurai, Gender Envy, Atsushi. So this is just kind of like a reference to like that meme, the shout out to Sakurai Atsushi, gotta be one of my favorite genders type of meme, you know? I think like for some people it might be hard to understand, but like as Haïfa just said, like when you see a different way of expressing gender that you haven't encountered before, it's like your mind is opened to like the different possibilities. So in the same way that I said that I felt envious of Mana growing up, seeing that he could express himself in different ways and still like have the essence remain, I also was able to learn that like I can play with the way that people perceive me, or like I can play with the way I feel about like myself. I don't have to look a certain way, and even if I do, it's mostly about the way I feel. Like as we say, like of course we mention here gender envy. We mention here at Sakurai because he's so popular on VK Twitter, and a lot of people say, oh man, I feel like gender envy when they look at Sakurai Atsushi because he looks so beautiful. He has that androgynous quality, especially in the 90s, early 90s. He had that androgynous quality where he basically looked like a shoujo manga character, like literally, like the long hair, the tall body, like very thin, like very like he looks like he's straight out of a shoujo manga. Like that's it. So I think a lot of people look at his image and the way he expresses himself through music, the way he sings, and feel like they want to embody an energy that's similar. Because although he is like, of course, we know Backtick. By the way, Backtick 35th anniversary today.
Omedetou gozaimasu.
Omedetou.
Play.
BT.
like, although he sings of like things very clearly sexual, like from a man perspective, let's say, there's something quite beautiful about Sakurai Atsushi, like that we don't, I don't know, for me, as far as I go, like I haven't encountered in my life until I saw him. So I could understand that, wow, like there are men, or like there are people who can look like that. They can play with the way they look and the way they move and the way they express themselves and like give off this energy. So I don't want to be like Sakurai Atsushi, but I felt like I wanted to find my own way of expressing myself that showed how I felt on the inside. So that was something that was inspiring for me. So here's another question for Visual K Twitter. Segue, Atsushi Sakurai. There was a lot of debate going on recently about people who said, apparently, like allegedly, very sexual things about Atsushi Sakurai, who sings about sex all the time. Is it wrong to sexualize bandmen? What do you think?
No.
Why?
I mean, I can't speak for all bandmen, but the ones I know, so the do minor bands that I go to, if they can sexualize me and women on stage, in their songs, in their videos, then I can sexualize them. It's a two-way street, my friend. Like, really, like, you know, like, there's so much discourse on Visual K Twitter about not sexualizing bandmen, but y'all are whack and not in the real world if you act like that. Like, do you not know these are guys, and they're young, horny guys, a good chunk of them. Like, chill. The bandmen slide into DMs. They're horny. And as much as Visual K Twitter doesn't want to believe that bandmen do this, because, you know, they're innocent. No, they're not. Also, multiple bandmen have not only done this to me, but to my friends. They see me jumping with my I have big titties, sorry, I do. And I'm jumping. They'll look at me, look at my titties, point to my titties, and make titty shapes, gestures.
All happened.
It happened to Haïfa. It happened to me. I was there. They look, they stare, they point. They sexualize me. I can sexualize them. Thank you.
Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah.
Yo, like, I swear to God, like, people on Visual K Twitter, they act like these are, like, angels. They act like these are, like, you know, like, the most innocent people in the world. Like, fam, they are making songs about fucking you, or fucking someone, or fucking many people. Like, they do this shit. Like, just because you don't understand Japanese doesn't mean it's not happening. I'm sorry.
I think it's, all of that you said, and also just the simple fact that it means that they are sexualizing themselves already.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, but like that's the first example that came to my mind when you talked about like they make songs about that. Please pay money for my masturbation. Like when Yoshiatsu sings that, do you think he would be uncomfortable about you thinking some ways? Like, no, it's literally the song. It's literally the way he moves on stage. It's literally even the way he interacts with fans. So
he's
like
infamous for sliding in DMs.
Like, should we say that? Should we say that? Oh my God.
It's true.
But yeah, like it's like a lot of them sexualize themselves already, including our Sir Sakurai gender envy Atsushi. So like I think they sleep well at night. It's okay. They are not, I'm not trying to be mean there, but like they're not snowflakes. They know what they're doing. They're in control of their image. They know it sells. So I think that it is not bad at all. Not bad as you might imagine. However, there are some bandmen who do not sexualize themselves, and maybe this is the moment it becomes like something you should keep in your mind, to your fantasy, to your private. Like, yeah. Do you
use your logic? Like, if this bandman is like posting photos of himself without a shirt and stuff, maybe. If you're, a fully clothed, bandman in Lolita, I would rethink. Okay, but I just want to say, I know there are band men. There are band men that do visual kei for the attention of women. There are, unfortunately, we all want to think that every bandman that is in the visual kei scene wants to do it for artistic reasons. Unfortunately, some people do it for the female attention. And we do. Did we forget the whole Mitsu culture? They have a Mitsu culture. They have a Tsunagari culture. Okay, let's not forget that it exists. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like some of the things that you guys discussed was like I'm not sure we can agree or like come to a conclusion that like use your brain to think about like which bandmen sexualize themselves and which don't, because the line is very thin, and also some people might not be attracted to the ones who sexualize themselves but sexualize other bandmen. So like just earlier we're having a debate about like whether we think like Mana is like has like shown like sexual like qualities in his work, and Peter, you disagree. You think like he is not a bandman to be sexualized, but I'm thinking of Illuminati and in Miles Beezer and like the way he's wearing like fetish wear and like, you know, like all these things. So obviously it looks like it.
But technically you can sexualize Mana in that era. Like some people who are attracted to that can sexualize it, you know? Like that era of Mana was, you know, like I can't really understand it because I don't find it attractive, but I'm sure there are some people that look at Mana and are attracted to Mana in the Illuminati video. But, you know, it's different, like, you know, I mean, I'm sure this is not, like, the main point, but, you know, you can't really go into Mana's DMs, you know, or anything.
Yeah, but that's not, like, we're speaking,
That's
like, of sexualizing, point. Not, like, sexualizing is, like, a personal thing, right? It's, like, how you view the people and everything. So I think we all agree that, like, sure, you can sexualize, like, if it's a personal thing, because that's just your reaction or, like, how you view these bedmen, right?
Yeah.
But, like, I think, like, the part where it's more clear that, like, we can have a definite answer is, like, do you believe it's okay to, like, say it out loud? Do you think it's okay to tweet about it? Do you think it's okay to, like, talk to these bandmen directly and express the fact that you sexualize them? Like, how do we feel about those things? Where do we draw the line?
I feel like maybe we can't draw the line because each person has their own limits. And if they don't understand the other person, if they don't understand the bandman as a person, and they don't, you know their personality on stage, because this is a stage persona, right? Whether they personally want to be sexualized or not, I mean, it's their stage persona. They're out there. They're putting themselves out there. So they have to assume someone's going to sexualize them. You know, there's a chance of it happening. So I don't think I don't think we have the authority to say you shouldn't sexualize someone, because some people might be really attracted to them.
Yeah, I agree.
That's completely.
We can't.
Yeah, that's completely subjective. We cannot, like, we talked a lot about Illuminati Mana, but some people will and might sexualize Mana from just today.
Exactly.
Like, just today is Mana, like, and what can we do about it? Nothing, actually. Like, it's just them. Like, we cannot control your reaction and tell you what is right or wrong, but I think the line comes when it comes to interact, so like with the people themselves. I never thought he was like such a, like, I never saw anyone who would post, oh, Mana looks like so sexy on that picture, and that's just a random picture of like this here Mana, and thought, oh, that's bad. Like, I don't really care for that, even if he might see it if he search for himself, okay? But when you go under their tweets or like start to interact, that is a bit different. Besides that, like, someone who just posts like, oh, I think this person is sexy, like, what do you want me to say? You're allowed to have your opinion, you know?
It's people, like, need to treat them like other humans. Not just because they're bandmen in Japan doesn't mean they're not human. Have some decency, use your logic. Would you want someone to start writing sexual things under a tweet that has nothing to do with sex or being sexual at all? Mm-hmm. You wouldn't. You know, so just, treat them like a normal human being.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, acting like inappropriately, like,
that's
it's
disgusting.
It's not right. Yeah, it's not right. And like, I feel like I don't want to say that it all comes down to consent, because like as you said, like the example that Pity you gave, which is really interesting, when they gesture to fans like during lives, like they do like those gestures because like they think like your body looks good and everything. I think that's inappropriate. I think so. Like some people don't mind it, but if that happened to me, I would probably leave. First of all, it wouldn't happen to me, but if it happened,
Yeah. I mean, like, for me, it's shocking that, like, oh my gosh, like, he's, are my boobs really that noticeable? I don't know. I'm not personally offended by it, but I mean,
It
like,
depends of the people, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't blame you for being offended. You wouldn't blame me for being offended.
yeah, exactly,
Like
but
it's
I'm
up
not.
to it's up to people, and I would definitely understand that some people like literally would take it for like harassment, because that's like literally pointing at you in front of everyone else, though.
I mean, no one's turning and looking at me, so, but,
Yeah, I mean,
but the
yeah.
I'm sure other people on stage are like, what is the pointing at?
but I think like whether you think it's fine or not, I still think like the men can never really have your consent for that. So I think
Yeah.
that's inappropriate.
Yeah.
Like, and your reaction depends, right? So
Yeah.
I feel like it all comes down to consent about anything, really. Like of course the Batman's not gonna be like, yes, you can sexualize me, but like as we said, we can't control that part. What we can control is like if you send a DM to Batman and he replies to you and gives you the same energy back, then you can start thinking about things. But like, don't tweet under some Batman's freaking picture like you would look good doing this and that.
The thing is, it's
Pink.
like like usually people doing that are kids, and it's like kids don't understand. I don't want to be ageist. I'm sorry, but this is like as you get older and you have like quote unquote adult relationships, you start to understand what's socially acceptable and what isn't. But if you're like a teen and you don't understand what's socially acceptable, like, yeah, you're, don't do that stuff because you don't know what you're doing might be offensive.
Yeah, 100%.
Sorry, kids.
Okay, going from there. So this is more of a personal question. So it's like, please be as thorough as you'd like. So do you feel that like being a Visual Kei fan, liking Visual Kei, has played any part in the type of people you're attracted to today?
Yeah, for me, it just reinforced me liking masculine guys. Like, as crazy as that sounds, like, usually people would be like, oh yeah, like, I saw Visual Kei, and then I started liking more feminine guys. No, for me, it's opposite. Like, in the real world, a lot of bandmen are different from what they look like in photos or videos, and some of them look super manly in real life, and I don't know, like, I always, as I got older, okay, I would say as I hit like mid-20s, I started liking really masculine guys and, like gorilla type masculine.
Peter and the infamous gorilla type. Can you explain to your audience what the gorilla type is?
Oh God, a gorilla type is just imagine a gorilla. Like big guys with big broad shoulders, big arms, or just big.
Is there any like famous bandman that would like fit that type?
There is
Like,
no famous Batman.
okay, there is no.
I'm sorry, but guys that look like gorillas don't really become famous. Unfortunately, Visual Kei is really cutthroat. But I can name a guy, the Yugo from Griva.
Oh, okay.
He's my type. Gorilla looking,
So you can search that.
Yeah, if you
want
don't
to
know
have an idea.
Griva, I hope all of you know who Griva is, but yeah, or the guitarist of Verge, who is Yugo's brother. They look the same, okay? They're related. What can I say?
By the way, gorilla is like used as a positive term.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
I'm sorry. Like, I mean, would you feel happy if you were a guy and someone called you a gorilla?
No, that's why I had to say that, because I'm thinking of Hugo's feeling.
We're sorry.
Sorry, Hugo. I love you though, really. That part.
Okay.
Okay, please. I don't want to hurt Hugo Chan's feelings. Another famous bandman that's my type is Eru from Meme,
Oh.
because he looks like Yugo.
No, but like you okay, that's just
No,
you have a type right now.
They literally, and the he who shall not be named, they all look the same.
Okay.
They all have the same face. They all have the same like gorilla body type. That's what I like. I'm sorry. Of course I like non-gorillas. But the non-gorillas I like, they are a bit I wouldn't say feminine, but more delicate, more as a shoujo manga type guy, more prince-like. I also like that kind of guy too, so yeah. So I do like more masculine, like the opposite of onnagata, really. For real. Like borderline almost not visual K. But still very visual K. Does that make sense?
Rest in peace, Onagata.
Rest in peace on like you literally made the hole through it and that's it.
Unnecessary.
Over.
Really unnecessary, in my
No,
opinion.
no. I would definitely say that like visual K has played a part in the type of person I'm attracted to, also in the type of person that I am in my own gender, I would say. But yeah, it opened my mind to more than the binaries. I guess that without visual K, I would probably find out at some point about like everything outside of the binaries, but I would have probably been strictly attracted to like men and girls and that's it. And then maybe it would have been a bit different, but I guess, yeah, it definitely played a part because I don't have types. I do have few types that I like. It is, but it's not that related to their gender expression. For example, just yeah, like one thing that I like is like people older than me, like older men. That's something that I like, but I don't know. I don't think of like their gender or the way they express their gender as like a limit. Maybe if that wasn't for visual K, my mind wouldn't be that open as it is today. So yeah, it definitely played a huge part. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like, of course, like there's like just in any like subculture, like there's the physical things, like of course like the type people who wear a certain type of fashion, makeup, piercings, body modifications, and all these kind of things. Of course, these things like visual K has shaped my taste in that regard. But not like I'm like right now we're not necessarily speaking of romantic relationships or like sexual relationships or anything. I'm speaking like in all possible relationships, like especially like aesthetic, like attraction, like when I look at people and everything and these kind of things. I think definitely I think I tend to be attracted by people who are like really dedicated to a way of living. Like when a person has like a very strong worldview, like I find that extremely attractive. So people who are not scared of cringe, people who are not scared of like saying I like this and that's what I want to do. So like that's why I tend to like over the top visual K artists, like the people who say the really cringy shit. Like I love that shit because I can't live like that. So I find that attractive in other people.
You like them dramatic types.
Yeah, I love the dramatic types. I like people who are very sensitive and people who can appreciate art. That's qualities that I've learned like a lot, like through visual K. Like when someone, I find it attractive when people say, I really like this song because it makes me feel that this way, or points out to like lyrics. I love that people, like when people can show like a certain level of appreciation for arts. But yeah, like as far as like physical stuff, like I guess like most of the Bangya would, but like it's not only things I find attractive in other people. As Haïfa said, like these things also influence me. Like I love piercings, I wear black, I wear these kind of things, like this kind of jewelry and all this. So there are things that like have shaped me also in some way.
You probably even yourself have been influenced by, like it has probably the fact that you like gorillas. I mean, sorry for the term gorilla, but I feel like maybe it like in subconscious way, because for a second you were kind of a bandman too for a second. So like, doesn't the fact that you've been like so into those like masculine guys shape the fact that like you're like hyper feminine? You're kind of hyper feminine, and that's great, and I love that. But I think I'm pointing at something now. Am I?
Wait a minute. Wait, what? Wait a minute. Please go on.
We're doing some analysis here.
Huh?
Analysis of Persia's bandman past.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like because for a second, like when you started, like you were into visual kei and stuff, you did. I don't remember if you mentioned it on the podcast or just between us. No, I think it was.
But go ahead.
No. Sorry. Okay, we can cut that out.
Expose me.
We can cut that out.
No, expose me. Yes. No. Yes, I did dress like a bandman.
Yeah, but no, it just reminded me one of our past conversations, like the fact that I'm like, oh, like we're not just talking about attraction, but also like how it influenced us. For me, for Fatima, I think it also influenced you, because at first you were like very like you played bass. You were like Toshia, and like you would like look like Toshia and stuff. So like I think you also had that time where you like you were inspired in that way, like you also wanted to kind of like look like that maybe. But then I mean
I was very confused.
It's okay. It's great.
That encouraged you to explore your like your gender expression.
So I think a lot of us were attracted to them and wanted to be like them, okay? So I had that attraction. I wanted to be like them, but I was also attracted to them. But then, when I became 15, 16, I realized, wait a minute, they are not attracted to this. It seems like they are not attracted to this. And let me tell you, this was 2010. That's when gyaru was super popular, okay? So, I don't remember who it was. Maybe, I don't remember which bandman, but I saw a lot of bandmen were saying, oh, I like gyaru. I like gyaru. And I was like, they like gyaru. Maybe I should be a gyaru.
Oh, please.
I swear to fucking God. I became a gyaru because I wanted bandmen to like me. I'm sorry. That's the truth. Fucking take it away. Take my gyaru card away.
It's not even taking your gyaru card away. It's like, take the feminism out of the chat.
Hell yeah.
Like,
I'm sorry. Send me hate mail, but that's the reason why.
No, but like
I became this way.
It's okay.
I should have mentioned that in the reinforcement of whatever, or how it changed my view of, what was the question?
The fucking chaos. I'm screaming. Which one?
I think it was did your perception of gender change?
Yeah, maybe. I guess I think it made me, because I wanted to be hyper feminine, because I want them to be attracted to me, because when I compare myself to other Japanese Bangya, they look super feminine, and I mean, I had a wolf cut before it was super popular, like way before it was popular. So
it was the time people call it the mullet.
Yeah, and I had like no eyebrows, but that was okay. That was in back in the day. Yeah, I thought maybe I had a crush on Hitomi. So I was like, maybe he would like me if I look more gyaru, because he said he likes gyaru. So here we are.
We need these true poignant stories from pick-me's from the past.
Oh my God.
You are a pick-me, don't deny. And you're saying it, so I love that, because some girls will be like, yeah, I want to be with the bandman and stuff. They need to hear that shit.
Yeah, I'm okay, yes, I am a pick-me, and I did it right. I'm sorry, I did it right. So,
got picked.
Huh?
I said your girl got picked.
I got picked a few times. So I'm just saying, yes, liking visual kei made me more feminine. It reinforced the roles. It reinforced the masculine over there and the feminine over here.
Damn, the psychoanalysis of Persia
Really,
on that podcast.
there is no feminism with me. I swear to God. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry to all my friends. Every one of you, listen, I'm so sorry. I know you, but you knew what I was like. You knew what I was like. You know who I am, so I'm sorry. You knew. You knew.
Damn.
that was
Finished.
very
Damn.
yeah.
Anyways, we've covered all the questions, you guys.
No,
we didn't.
the last
Last
one.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, we've talked about it, but okay, let's do it then.
No,
Yeah.
we didn't talk about.
It's
Okay.
no, it's gonna be wild.
End this on a exciting note, on something funny, something that makes us laugh a lot as Bangya. What's the most insane fan service that you've ever seen in Visual K?
Okay, maybe you can start, Persia.
Oh God, it's gonna be chaotic. But I really can't think of any in particular. Gazette, I guess, like they have fan service, no?
Gazette? Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I can't remember on the top of my head. I don't, because
You're not really into those.
I'm not
bands you
into,
do.
yeah, exactly. I'm
Who
not.
do that?
Fan service bands are like more bigger bands, and I'm not really into them unless it was like 2008. Like, I can't remember. But I don't know if this is fan service or not, but I know there was like two bandmen that gave each other blowjobs on a Twitcast. Is that fan service?
That's true. Yeah, I remember that.
Right. They were like.
Can we say the name? Because
I don't know. I don't remember the
I don't know
name.
who they are either.
Okay.
But it was like going around, like they were like on Twitcast and just giving each other blowjob.
I mean, that's
Now that's queer baiting.
Yeah.
now here it is.
I don't know if it was fan service or if it was real. Because if it's real, why would you put it on the Twitcast? And if it's...
You won the coins.
Well, if we're talking about coins, I know... Oh, I shouldn't say his name, but there was a
Don't
band...
say his name then.
Yeah, there was a bandman, and he was... This was Tumblr days. I don't know why, but like people found out that he was in a gay porno, and it was...
Oh, I know. Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was, yeah. That's the coin. That's not fan service. That's just the coin, I guess.
Yeah, that's just him
The struggle
trying.
is real for bandmen.
Yeah, they have to pay their bills. Yeah. Look what they have to do if you don't buy their CDs.
And he did not sell. I'm so sorry about that. I wonder how he's doing.
We hope you're doing well, fam.
Yeah.
Fatima, do you have one to say? And send fan service?
I'm like right now I'm hesitating between like a fan service between like a member and like a fan or something like this, or like a member and a member. Like, what are we doing?
Okay, if it's a member and a fan, it's I win. I'm sorry, because
but not your own. But like I mean, like it's hard to not talk about like Yasu and Jeanne d'Arc, like
definitely.
Like in that performance, like he went out.
The performance that was crazy. Of Empire, yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah, there is one that I have that to me is like one of the most famous. This is Vanilla Gact.
Yeah.
You mean like
the live, yeah. Who is it? Like Chachamaru and yeah, the rest of his like team. So Gact on Vanilla to me is like and famous. And also Gact and Mana. Also Malice Miser as a whole. Thank you. Can we talk about Mana? Can we like?
And who else? Oh, that video, that fan cam of Kamijo and Kaya kissing at the Tokyo Decadence performance. Yep. I think it was end of La Reine days or beginning of Versailles days or something like that. I don't really remember, but that shit was wild. I mean, fan service, I don't know if that's fan service, but the one I've seen with my very own eyes was Jin from Articlear, pretending to masturbate on the scene, but that's quite common. It's not something that's...
Yeah, a lot of guys, masturbate with the microphone on stage.
Yep.
It's disgusting, in my opinion, but...
It's an artistic gender expression.
It's gross.
It'd be like that.
I was gonna say one. There was. I mean, can we talk about like photo shoots?
Oh.
Like
Thinking
Hitomi,
of the same shoot. Yeah, I'm thinking of the same thing.
Hitomi with Kamijo, Hitomi, and that guy from Jill's, like. But he said he's not bi or gay, so. But he did it, so that's
Or
fan
that
service.
photo shoot with Sakurai, Gender Envy, Atsushi, and Yoshiki.
Yes, I was thinking about that one. I was thinking about that performance that we don't have a video of Atsushi and Issei from Derujibetto.
The whole like La Vie en Rose by Duranje, that video. They're just making out in the whole video.
That's it. I mean, just Illuminati as a video is wild. I mean,
Yeah.
Early Hyde and Kyoharu. Was it fan service at this point? Got us questioning. So yeah, I think there's a lot of like super famous ones, but yeah, as we said before, I feel like those last years are mostly like band men toward their audience and not much between.
Yeah, I feel like the generation has changed.
Yeah.
Like back when we were young, it was all about fan service with the members. But, you know, from the mid-2010s, it's all about engaging the audience. They need that Mitsu money. They need that Tsunagari money.
That's true.
They need that Aegyo life, you know.
Okay, on that, I think we've pretty much covered the topic from all possible angles. Once
Seriously.
again, this is only our opinions and our perception, also of the foreign fandom, but also Japanese fandom. We don't claim that anything that we say is 100% true. There are no stats about Visual K because it's just Visual K, so we can't say anything is for real. But this is what we've gathered from 10 plus years of being fans of the scene. So we hope that you enjoyed this episode, and we really want to hear what you guys think, whether it be personal experience or things that you've heard. Let's not try to put some rumors out there. Like, that's not the point. We really focus on who's out and who's not, because we don't want to create stories. Like, this episode's purpose was exactly to think about the stories that we make up about bandmen and when we share them with our friends online and things like that. So we hope that you learned something and that it made you think about your own relationship to Visual K and gender and sexuality.
Yes,
It's never too late.
let us know what you think in the comments, on Twitter, on YouTube. And also, do you suffer from Sakurai gender envy Atsushi? Do you suffer from another gender envy from another bandman? We'd love to hear about that. That can be funny. And we keep it all very positive, a safe place for everyone. And yeah.
Don't forget to engage. Friendly engagements are welcome. What?
That's right.
Yeah,
You're right.
Why did you laugh? No.
That was cute.
At least if you quote or tweet aggressively, do it on main so we can get likes. Okay.
Yeah, yes, please. Like feel free to tell us if what you think is like what is your opinion, what you agree and disagree with. We love to hear and see about that. Just give us your opinion, whether it is
Positive or negative.
whether you agree or not. We're here to listen to it, and yeah.
I'm gonna add one more thing if that's okay. Whether it be Japanese fans or bandmen themselves, nobody owes you an explanation about their sexuality and gender, and that also applies for the members of the Bangya podcast. If we didn't say exactly what we were and who we were attracted to, that's because that's our privacy. So don't go around assuming that we're just some cis straight women. I love you, Persia. Talking shit. Also,
Yeah, you can assume I'm cis and straight because I am. Thank you.
Yeah, good luck to that community.
Thank you.
yeah. So we'll see you again soon for another difficult topic in the next month.
Yes.
Next episode is...
Can we say it? How can I like give a trailer to that? Can we say a word?
Di stoccato, oh, 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 oh. Di stoccato.
Yeah, we'll dive into like the keyword I would say is menhera. Yeah, let's go.
There we go. Okay, let's
You
go.
have the keywords and stay tuned for the next episode.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.